All right, so you may not even ever have heard of this hormone, but believe it or not, leptin wasn't discovered until 1994, and it plays a major role in our health and ability to stay lean. Leptin is a hormone made by our fat cells that is responsible for reducing hunger. It's also known as our satiety hormone, or the master hormone of body fat regulation. So when you eat a meal, leptin gets released by your fat cells and it travels to your brain. It basically signals to your brain that your body is full and needs no more food. It is an important hormone that aids in appetite control. So in obesity, there's a lot of body fat in fat cells. Fat cells release leptin according to their size, so the more fat you have, the larger the leptin levels. Now, increased leptin levels from their full fat stores should be telling the brain to stop the consumption of food. But the problem with obesity is that the leptin signal isn't working properly. There's a ton of leptin floating around, but the brain is becoming unresponsive to the signal and is tricked into thinking that there's too little leptin present. Your brain has essentially become numb to the "stop eating" warning. Now, this condition is known as leptin resistance. Now, we've already talked about the hormone insulin and how we've become resistant to it. Well, the hormone leptin is absolutely no different. Leptin resistance develops in response to chronically elevated leptin levels, so the brain eventually stops responding to the large amounts of leptin released, and you don't get the signal to stop eating. It mistakenly thinks the body is starving, even though it has more than enough fat stored. So first, our brain signals our body to eat more in order to not starve to death, and second, it reduces our metabolism because the brain thinks we need to conserve energy, which makes us burn fewer calories and making us feel sluggish and lazy. Now, the good news is you can resist your leptin sensitivity. Now, if you're overweight or obese, most likely you're leptin resistant. This is the case especially if you have excess fat in the midsection. A big key to preventing and reversing leptin resistance is following a diet that keeps inflammation and triglycerides down. Now, there are several things that you can do right now to increase your leptin sensitivity. They are to avoid processed food, consume healthy fats, exercise, sleep, reduce your carbohydrate intake, and have a healthy protein intake. Now, did you notice anything about these recommendations? Yeah, these are the exact same guidelines for anyone just wanting to be healthy, regardless of their circumstance. Now, eating whole foods, exercising, and sleeping well are all lifestyle factors that contribute to health and wellness for life. So where does intermittent fasting come into play here? Well, recent research in the Internal Journal of Obesity found that intermittent fasting was effective at reducing leptin hormones and improving leptin resistance. Now, in addition, it fights inflammation and it lowers triglycerides. And this is yet another reason to be a sensitive person.